taxi driver had come across a huge white pig that had dashed across, right across in his way. When he attempted to press the brakes, it was too late. He had hit the animal. The story goes on to say that Solomon, as much as he tried, did not find any sign of the beast. Another version says that when the frightened driver stopped to check on the animal, he saw to his great surprise a naked man with sparse, bristly hair on his body and a flat snout, lying dead in a pool of blood. Whatever may have happened, people affirm that Solomon lost his senses after telling his story and succumbed shortly afterwards into a spell and died. The apparition of the lady in white by the crosses at El Chial, a farm originally owned by Domingo Espat, a Lebanese chicle contractor, seemed more entertaining. The older taxi drivers would always warn the younger ones never to dare travel the road close to midnight, for the spirit of the lady that roamed at that hour would lure them to their death. Incidentally, the warning would be repeated before the weekends of heavy carousal when they knew that taxi drivers would be in high demand, especially at midnight. I am for real. The heavy-set man looked again at the mirror and saw her smile for the first time. Her pearly teeth glistened with the beams of the moon. Once more, she seemed to be conversing with his thoughts. Yes, you are no illusion. You are beautiful, perhaps as attractive as Clarissa. At no time did the girl's melancholic eyes meet his in the mirror. She appeared to be submerged in thought as she stared across the rolled-up window at the pale moon perched high in the night sky. She crossed her eyes and sighed. Ana Dolores would always prompt her to smile, even when in distress. It was through Ana Dolores, her childhood friend, that she had contacted Esteli at Tegucigalpa, the big city, after convincing her to come along with her to Belize. Babysitting and waitressing pay well down there. Fancy resorts where we can get 10 times what we could possibly get anywhere in Honduras. Ana Dolores had said, her eyes dancing with excitement. The only contact both had with Esteli was through a middle-aged man with a nervous twitch. He kept blinking his eyes intermittently as he told them that Esteli had a high-ranking job with the government and was a very busy lady, and that he would take care of getting them in Belize with a well-paid job. When Ana Dolores had asked him how much it would cost, the man assured them that payment would come later, once settled. It's like going on a cruise, he said. You embark and pay later. So welcome on board. My advice though, a few dollars for the road and travel lightly. Your new home will provide everything. Then with a grin, he composed himself and said, by the way, I am Francisco, but call me Chico. Thank you. At some point, I will call you. I will invite you for a reading of the whole story. So I invite any questions you may have, any comments, if there's time. Miss Anselma. Yeah. The first was Old Bank, and that's the anniversary edition there. The one on the far on my right is one of the editions for books for schools. No, it's kind of a cheaper kind, right, Miss Lillian? Then followed by God Save the Queen in Spanish as well, like Old Benke. God Save the Queen is written like that. It's the way a non-English speaker would pronounce it. No, and it relates the nationalist movement in this area in the form of a short novel. No? Then La Visita, which is also in Spanish, another anthology. They are more original stories, unlike Old Benke, which is more narratives from the older generation. And then also Under the Yashe, that's in English, and that's again folklore. Many of those stories that I heard from my grandparents, my mother. And then we have Jonas Matapalo. It's a first attempt at writing a short story for children in both English and Spanish, and it has that also folkloric flavor with an ecological, environmental message, for protection of the Belizean rainforests. So that would be it. I was going to say that I'm very thankful to the teachers, the principals, who made that bold move to include Belizean literature in their schools. Belizean writers need that, and we need that to develop identity and cohesion, as a nation. And I'm very glad that many school principals have stepped into that that move. I remember that when we had a suicidal wave in this area, Old Benke was branded as one of the non-reading books in some of the evangelical schools, because they felt that it was promoting this ugly culture. But we should understand that our folklore has a purpose. It has a purpose. And more than ever, we need to go back to storytelling in our communities. Any other question?
Mr. Ruiz, are you in the process of doing another anthology of stories, and the latest one, will that be included in it?
Well, depending on the outcome, usually what happens in these competitions, one of the things the conditions is that they take over the story in a sense, that for publication their own, until they whatever agreement is reached with the authors. But I do intend to publish this story. This is in English. I do have others in Spanish. It's not that I intend. At some point, maybe I will, publish them, because I believe, like any artist, you produce whatever you do. It serves to first satisfy you. It's a satisfaction to see your art, and then the next step is you want to share it. But with sharing it comes marketing, and we artists are not business people, We always end up losing in this endeavor. But hopefully so. That's why I anticipate the day when I don't have to go to school and be guided by deadlines and all of this. I envy those people who have retired and can do their own thing and just maybe serve here and there, everywhere, But I hope to have the time when that, hopefully God will give me that time to publish on that age, that era in Benke, when Father Gregory Sontag was murdered. It was a very interesting time with the nationalist movement. the, the, the partnerships, the relations with, after Vatican II, all this confusion that came into the Catholic Church. So I plan to write at some point on that.
What advice do you have for young writers?
My advice for young writers is to read and write. I mean, it's a discipline like anything in life. Like what the Greek philosophers say, you become good at something if you want to be good at a vice, or you want to be a graceful person, virtuous person, you discipline yourself to become virtuous. It's an art. So you exercise an art by doing precisely that, writing. Writing. Reading. Sometimes you may fall into this, that you may copy other writers, that's fine, but as long as you read and write. No? Now we're in a different age, whereby you don't have to depend on publishers. I mean, it's good to have your book published by a company, but in the end you get a royalty, which is like 10%. If this book sells for $15, I will get $1.50, and the rest goes to the company because it's a business. But we are in an age where you can do your own